What is hyperbole? Hyperbole is deliberate exaggeration for emphasis or comedy. So with hyperbole, the literal meaning is not the intended meaning. Here are some easy examples. I've got a million things to do. Now clearly you don't have a million things to do. It's an exaggeration for emphasis. I could eat a scabby horse. You've lost a ton of weight. Your mum is going to have a fit when she sees that tattoo. Well, she's not literally going to have a fit. It's exaggeration for comedy or emphasis. Here are some real-life examples of hyperbole. My mother worked her fingers to the bone trying to provide for me and my brother. Well, that's an exaggeration. Give a girl the right shoes and she can conquer the world. A quote by Marilyn Monroe, the actress. You can always count on them to do the right thing after they've tried everything else. A quote by Prime Minister Winston Churchill about Americans. Sorry, Americans. Now, quite often, hyperbole is presented in the form of a simile. Now, a simile makes a comparison by using the word like or as. Lee's arms were like strands of cotton hanging from his t-shirt. So this is an hyperbolic simile. Now we have videos on similes and metaphors. Now a metaphor asserts that something is a thing that it literally isn't. So his cigar was a smouldering zeppelin that assured no intrusion into his personal space. Now his cigar clearly was not literally a smouldering zeppelin. That's an example of hyperbole. It's an hyperbolic metaphor. Why should you care about hyperbole? Well, hyperbole can be used to convey a message, an opinion or emotion in an interesting or witty way. You can also use hyperbole to influence your audience. So, if you use exaggeration to emphasize something, it shows your bias. It presents them with a viewpoint. It drags them to your way of thinking. Now, hyperbole is obviously not meant to be taken literally, but it's meant to convey a truth. It's a little like cartooning. Much of it is satire. Hyperbole is more common in everyday speech and verse, like in poetry and songs, than it is in business writing. But it does have some utility in business writing, particularly in advertising. Now remember this example. Carlsberg. Probably the best lager in the world. Now, the word probably makes it look like it's being modest, but the best lager in the world, that's quite some claim. And the whole point is that it's exaggeration for emphasis. It takes you to 15 out of 10, and the chance of you coming back to, say, 2 out of 10 for your assessment of Carlsberg is quite a jump. Probably the lowest score you'll come down to, having seen that hyperbole, is, say, a 7 out of 10. Carlsberg will take that 7 out of 10. They've taken you far right in order that you don't come back too far. That's how useful hyperbole can be. Of interest, in Denmark, where Carlsberg is from, that slogan was not allowed. And they said, probably the best lager in town, because hyperbole was not allowed in Danish advertising. So here's a summary. Hyperbole. Use it to convey your message in an interesting or witty way. Use it to divulge your sentiment towards an issue, and use it to influence your readers towards your position. Take them past your position with some exaggeration so that they bounce back to something looking like your position. That's all. Be sure to check out some of our other videos on grammarmonster.com. You'll also find us on Twitter and Facebook.